I feel like he's a hater.
Okay.
If I'm gonna be a 1000%.
It's the Real Report Show. It's all good. That's what we do.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
I think he.
The rivalry between Terence Crawford and Jaron Boots Ennis has intensified once again, with Crawford responding directly to Boots and accusing the young contender of repeatedly mentioning his name as a way of gaining attention and momentum throughout his boxing career.
Boots, a whole motion is built off of Terence Crawford. He should thank me, to be honest, because if there was no Terence Crawford at this pinnacle, who would they be talking about? Who would they be comparing him with? I remember when he was a couple of fights in and people were saying, hey man, it's this little kid. When he was an amateur, in the Olympic trials, they was like, man, this dude fight like you, bud. This dude fight like you. When he was pro, this dude...
Crawford went on to address what he viewed as disrespect from Boots, although he later made it clear that he does not actually hold anything against Ennis personally. In fact, Crawford emphasized that he has supported Boots for many years, beginning with the Olympic trials and continuing by showing up to his fights. Crawford explained that he genuinely wants to see Ennis succeed, develop, and eventually establish himself among the very best fighters in the sport.
Like, a lot of people say, oh man, Bud always hating, like what
Boots, however, refused to let Crawford's comments interfere with what he is trying to accomplish. Rather than focusing on the criticism, he dismissed the negativity and continued expressing confidence in his own abilities. Ennis still considers himself one of the top fighters at 154 pounds and believes every time he steps into the ring, he gets another opportunity to demonstrate exactly where he belongs among the division's elite.
I'm up here in the line though. That stuff be bothering me, but like I said, I'm the best at 154. Everybody know it, and I'm gonna keep standing every time out.
Brian Norman Sr. acknowledged the considerable talent Boots brings into the ring, but he also questioned whether Ennis has already done enough to prove that he belongs among truly exceptional fighters. Norman believes Boots possesses the necessary ability to compete against elite-level opposition. However, he feels Ennis still has to show the qualities that separate an excellent fighter from someone who can ultimately become truly special.
But I think he's no better than anybody else. I do not think he's a special talent. I have never thought he was a special talent. You feel what I'm
AOI came to Boots' defense by pointing out that Crawford himself once faced criticism regarding the quality of his opposition earlier in his career. His argument is that Ennis remains in the process of developing his professional resume and should not be judged by exactly the same standards as a fighter who has already spent years building and establishing his legacy at the highest level of boxing.
Look at Crawford's career. Until the end of his career, Crawford hadn't fought anybody that people thought that had a chance against him. You know what I'm saying? That was his biggest criticism, was his strength of opposition. So for him to use that same criticism on an up-and-coming Boots not at the tail end of his career.
Andy Rory offered a contrasting opinion when assessing the two fighters against one another. From his perspective, Crawford remains clearly ahead of Boots at this stage because of his experience, technical skills, popularity, accomplishments, and commercial drawing power. Rory believes the extensive list of achievements Crawford has accumulated throughout his career gives him a significant advantage over Ennis for the time being.
Well, I think it's attention, but Terence is on another level right now. I mean, he's on another level.
When you say another level, do you mean like marketability-wise, name-wise, or you mean talent-wise?
All the above.
Bob Arum also discussed why Crawford has consistently been such a difficult fighter to prepare for. One of Terence's greatest strengths is his comfort fighting from both orthodox and southpaw positions, allowing him to change looks and force opponents into constant adjustments. Arum believes that unpredictability has played a major role in Crawford's success and remains one of the key reasons he has been so effective throughout his career.
Crawford is an awfully good fighter, and it would take a real wizard to beat him. Crawford has something that no other fighter around has, and people haven't commented on it, and that is he fights equally well as a southpaw or as a right-hander. And so when you train for a fight, usually the fighter he's fighting trains for him as an orthodox fighter, right-handed fighter. And so from the first round on, he'll turn southpaw, and the guy isn't ready for him. That's what beats Spence.
As the conversation surrounding Crawford continues, attention has increasingly shifted toward what could be waiting for Boots next. A possible matchup between Jaron Boots Ennis and Sebastian Fundora is generating more interest, particularly as the two fighters appear to be moving closer toward what could become a major showdown at junior middleweight.
Well, if you listen to Boots, what's next? Boots already sound on Fundora. I think Fundora is one of the best fighters in that.
Boots Ennis has also expressed genuine respect for Fonda as a potential opponent. He described Sebastian as one of the leading fighters competing at 154 pounds and said he would welcome the opportunity for his son to share the ring with him. Boussy even indicated that the matchup could possibly take place later this year, suggesting that real interest may exist on both sides in getting the fight finalized.
Fundora. I think Fundora is one of the best fighters in that division, and Boots sound Fundora. So Fundora said he's going to fight Boots. So it'll probably be in December. Probably be. I'm just throwing it off because Fundora going to fight now.
Boots himself has made it clear that he is willing to accept the challenge of facing Fundora. He views the matchup as precisely the type of major fight that boxing fans have been calling for. Fundora would bring championship experience, exceptional height, and highly unusual physical dimensions, giving Ennis another opportunity to test himself against one of the division's most difficult and dangerous opponents.
Because he got a belt and he's 6'5" or 6'6" or something like that. That's something that everybody gonna want to go see that. Like they want to see how I match up against.
Robert Garcia, however, believes the matchup could create several serious problems for Boots. He points to Fundora's extraordinary height, awkward movement, and physical advantages as factors that could make things extremely complicated for Ennis. Garcia has also seen significant improvements in Sebastian's overall game. Because of the contrasting styles, he believes Fundora could hold the advantage if the two eventually meet inside the ring.
Against Fundora, man, I think it's tough, man. Fundora has a style that's not going to make you look good. I would say I favor Fundora on that one, man. It's a fight that's not going to be easy for Boots because styles make fights, and Fundora lately, since he became champion, he's getting better and better and better. There ain't nothing stopping Fundora.
Garcia went further into his analysis by explaining exactly what makes Fundora such an uncomfortable opponent. In his opinion, the most effective approach against the towering champion would involve applying constant pressure, attacking the body, and preventing him from dictating the pace and rhythm of the fight. Boots, meanwhile, normally depends more on speed, movement, timing, and technical boxing rather than relentless pressure, which leaves Garcia questioning whether Ennis's natural approach will be enough to neutralize Fonda's unusual strengths.
That's not going to give up, and he's going to keep coming, working the body, and just kind of bullying Fundora into a fight, pressuring him into a tough fight. I think that's the style that might hurt Fundora, but Boots could also fight smart. He's a good he's got good footwork too. He's got good speed. So I don't think Boots is the type of brawler that's going to push Fundora back. So I think that right there, I favor Fundora on that one. I think so. I think it's probably
Brian McIntyre showed appreciation for both fighters while analyzing the possibility of the matchup. He praised Fender for successfully rebuilding his career after suffering the first defeat of his professional journey. McIntyre also gave Boots credit for navigating difficult challenges throughout his rise through the division. In his eyes, both men have accomplished enough at the highest level to make a meeting between them a significant event for boxing fans.
With the range and the height he got, even though he'd been beat before, since then he's just been cleaning them up. And so we all waiting to see, when those two or three, like the four kings, when they tangle. So we, as boxing fans, we just sit back and wait.
Yeah. Is it kind of nice to not be part of that, like the politics? You could be a fan.
I love it.
You don't have to deal with the nonsense, right?
I love it, man. I love it. I love the part that, like you said, just sit back and watch them, see how it all play out. And so, Boots, he got over that.
Tim Bradley leaned toward Boots when breaking down the matchup from a stylistic perspective. He believes Ennis has the athletic ability and offensive diversity necessary to overcome Fundora's enormous size and reach. Bradley specifically highlighted Boots's quickness, powerful combinations, rapid reactions, and effective body punching as weapons that could create major problems for the much taller champion throughout the fight.
Style that I believe that can give him fits.
because of his elusiveness. And Boots is quick on the trigger. He's not as long as this guy, but he's not, he got about 74. This other, Fundora has about 80-inch reach. But he has a quick first step. He throws combinations. He is a risk taker. He's a hell of a body puncher. He has a large toolbox, I think, that can give a guy like...
Bradley also understands why Fundora would remain such a dangerous assignment for Boots. Sebastian's massive frame, southpaw stance, punching power, and improved ability to control distance make him an extremely difficult opponent to solve. Bradley explained that anyone attempting to get inside must be prepared to deal with Fundora's continuous offensive output. Even after suffering a knockout loss, Bradley still views Sebastian as one of the toughest challenges available anywhere at 154 pounds.
Could give Boots a run from his money. He could. And I only say that because of his attributes. Not because of his boxing skills. It's because of his attributes. That's why. This guy has, and it's Sebastian Fundora. You guys know who he is. He's a southpaw too, right? He has range. He has volume. He has punching power as well. Okay? He knows how to keep his distance. He's difficult. I know he's been knocked out before. I know that. But you got to go through a dang rain of fire to be able to get close to this guy.
Eddie Hearn focused on another crucial element of the potential matchup, specifically Fundora's rare combination of physical attributes and fighting style. Hearn believes those characteristics make Sebastian particularly difficult for opponents to prepare for. Even so, he remains confident in Boots' ability to adjust, pointing to Ennis's intelligence, versatility, and capacity to solve problems during a fight as reasons he could eventually discover the right strategy against the champion.
To everything, and that's the problem. A lot of these guys, no disrespect to Keith Thurman, but he's been done for a while. Yeah. But Tim Tszyu, these kind of guys, they're all great fighters, but they just can't adapt to styles. Josh has got an unbelievable IQ. Boots has probably got the best IQ in the game, I think. They can adapt in those kind of fights, and that's what you need to do, because Fundora's a massive problem. Yeah. Because how do you prepare for it? I mean, so until you get in there, start getting hit by these arms.
Sean Porter also picked Boots because of the collection of tools Ennis possesses inside the ring. He emphasized his speed, explosiveness, athleticism, and complete boxing ability as major advantages. At the same time, Porter warned that Fundora's unusual rhythm and extraordinary dimensions create a type of challenge that very few fighters can accurately reproduce during training camp. In Porter's opinion, having the right preparation and game plan could prove just as important as possessing the necessary talent.
It looks like he's supposed to beat Sebastian Fundora because he's so fast, because he's so electric, because he's shown tremendous power, because he's shown so many different movements and techniques, and everything jumps off the screen when it's Boots Ennis. But then when you got, like I always like to say, another weapon standing across from you, negating some of the things you do, forcing you to turn off some of the stuff you do. Now, here's the thing that makes this guy dangerous to Boots. What I feel I know about Boots, I don't know if they game plan. To me, it seems like Boots is like, and Dad Bozy, we just gonna get you ready. Can't nobody beat you. Well, sometimes you gotta get ready for the guy across from you. And what I now know about this dude, he getting ready for who's across from him. And that's why I'm breathing like that, because I know without a shadow of a doubt, he's going to be ready, he's going to have the right weapons, and he's going to be calling on the right weapons.
Paul Malignaggi placed significant attention on Fundora's development and evolution as a fighter. He believes Sebastian has become calmer, more complete, and more disciplined compared with the fighter fans watched earlier in his career. Malignaggi highlighted improvements in movement, distance control, and overall decision-making. Despite those developments, Fundora continues to possess the tremendous size, durability, and physical strength that have made him such a difficult opponent to deal with at this weight.
A lot of adjustments to his style since he's getting better. Fundora's getting better, and Fundora's becoming more and more difficult to deal with. He's understanding how to adjust his distance, and a guy who knows how to measure his distance at 6'5", 6'6", at junior middleweight is very, very tough. This Fundora is a bit more difficult to get to, but he knows how to take the half steps back, push out, slide in and slide out, and make you pay. And he can still punch, and he's still.
Gary Russell Jr. explained that Boots will require a carefully designed strategy if he intends to defeat Fundora. Russell believes relying solely on natural ability will not be sufficient against a champion with such unusual physical dimensions. Ennis will have to identify the correct moments to close the distance, stay active with his footwork, apply smart pressure, and ensure that his offensive attacks remain balanced by responsible defensive work throughout the fight.
This man down. It's always like they either the same height, the styles make it where as though they just like in the center pocket, middle of the ring, and they just going like skill for skill. You know what I mean? With this 7'8" tall guy, he like 7'8". He's not about to stand there. He might, you know, but Boots is really going to have to show a different side of his ability. He's going to have to walk forward. He's going to have to move his head a lot more, not just be defensive discipline, but he's going to have to work in between. He's going to have to be defensive and offensively equally as good. You know what I mean? He's going to work it together simultaneously.
Chris Algieri also explained why preparing for Fedora creates such an unusual challenge. His extreme physical size and unconventional approach are extremely difficult to reproduce in a training environment, which means opponents cannot easily simulate the same problems during camp. Algier praised Fender's continued development, particularly his patience, improved jab, and stronger defensive awareness. At the same time, he believes Boots possesses enough versatility and ability to compete successfully with anyone at 154 pounds.
It's such a difficult puzzle. He's so long, and he's getting better. He's improving. He's improving. He's learning how to use his size. He's using his jab. He's being more disciplined. He's not taking risks like he used to. Talk about a guy who used to allow people to hit him and then has figured out that you shouldn't do that at the highest level in that Brian Mendoza fight. But since then, he's been very, very good. So, yeah, I can understand why people would see him as the final guy because, again, with those physical advantages and the way that he's getting better, very, very difficult to deal with. And Jaron, with the level of talent he has, he can beat anybody on any given night. So, yeah, it's a
Sean Ziddle emphasized how Fondora has become increasingly effective at converting his physical advantages into tactical weapons. According to Ziddle, the champion now makes much smarter use of his height and reach, helping him control distance and make opponents uncomfortable throughout the fight. Although Fedora does not necessarily fight with the defensive style of a traditional technician, Ziddle believes his fight IQ, patience, and decision-making have improved considerably. He now takes fewer unnecessary chances and approaches his fights in a far more calculated manner.
Height, he's gotten a lot better at doing it. It's making him harder to beat. But the downside of his frame is his waist is not flexible. And thus, there's going to be really no head movement from Sebastian Fundora. His defense is his offense. And his defense, what makes him harder to hit is using the most of his distance and of his height and having a good sense of distance, when not to force the uppercut, which he doesn't do anymore, really. When to, you know, the right punch at the right distance, and the volume of punches is his defense. But I felt that he did show being more defensively sound. And he even took a step back once or twice or three times, which for him is a significant development, okay? This is a guy who would just go downhill, downhill, downhill off his jab, and you could just wing shots, and he's going to be right there, and you're going to...
Stephen Edwards believes Fungar represents a major challenge because of his unusual dimensions, toughness, and ability to dictate fights through his jab. However, Edwards also pointed to evidence that the champion can be hurt and pressured, using Fender's defeat against Brian Mendoza as an example. He believes Boots has the accuracy, punching power, and aggressive mindset necessary to take advantage of those vulnerabilities, potentially turning the matchup into an extremely competitive and action-packed battle.